On goals, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to today's video. In this video I'm going to be doing an oil and filter change on the Corsa and giving you sort of the rundown of what tools you're going to need and the oil, etc. And I usually service mine about every 3,000 to 4,000 miles, which is probably a bit overkill, but for how cheap an oil and filter kit is, it's worth doing. And the clutch kit has finally arrived, can you believe it? I will add that to the end of this video to show you the kit I've got and what I've gone for. And yesterday also I dropped the front bumper off for paint and the cracks to be repaired, so I should be picking up next week, hopefully. And the clutch is being done on Friday, so I will update on that when I do my front bumper and explain to you guys how it feels, if it feels different to the standard feel on the clutch pedal, if it's heavy or if it's light or if it's the same. And obviously it's going to chatter as well, so I'll add that in. I'll try and get that in to show you guys how loud that chatter is. I know it's going to annoy me, but you know, it's a sacrifice if you have to make, doesn't it, when you want more power. I'm still waiting on the intake system and the pipe valve springs. I've also sourced some cams. They are Piper track cams. They're not brand new, but I'm getting, if you guys know him, David Lawrence, if you know his Garrett Corsa, I'm going to be having the cams off him, hopefully. I'm just waiting on him to let me know when he's going to take them out, etc. But at the moment there's no rush because I haven't received the rest of the bits yet. So let's get to the oil change. Well, the first thing you want to do is obviously jack up your car, and I'll show you what I think you're going to need to change your oil. Obviously you've got your oil catch tub. You can use a bowl if it's easier for you, a filler if you ain't got a steady hand. It does tend to go everywhere and it gloops out. You'll need a 24mm socket and a T45 Torx bit, along with extensions and ratchets and stuff like that. Obviously this is all I'm using. It's 530 GM oil from Vauxhall. Obviously the oil filter and your sump plug O-ring. Altogether for that, those three parts, it cost me £40 from Vauxhall themselves, so it's not as expensive as you'd think to buy oil and filters and stuff from them. They are pretty well priced, and it's a Vauxhall receipt to have in your folder. So let's crack on. Obviously the first thing I want to do is obviously drain your oil. I take off my filler cap. I've always done that with all my cars. Just tend to find it seems to drain quicker, so it doesn't sort of get an airlock in the system. So you need your Torx bit to undo your sump plug, which is located here. For it to piss out everywhere. I have just used the car, so all is going to be warm. So I'm going to get ready to move my hand out the way quickly. It should be wearing gloves, but I haven't got any. I've run out. So make sure you've got rags as well. If you've got one of these braces, or even if you standard braces, it goes all over everywhere. There it goes. There we are. Great. That's really hot as well. But at least it always should be more runny, with it being hot, so it should flow out a lot faster. As you can see, it's slowly dripping out now, the little what's left. As you can see, it's made a right mess of my cross member. So I'll give that a wipe up once I put the sump plug back in. And then it's going to move on to the oil filter. So before refitting the sump plug, that's your sump plug O-ring in there. And what I use to get it out is just a small little flathead, or if you've got a pick, that's even better. So you just pick it out and then fit your new one. Pretty simple, really. So I've took the O-ring out now. I've just cleaned up the inside of the sump plug best I can. Now I'm just going to install the new one. Put this on top of here now, without knocking it over. So I'm going to just put this on, so just place it in, just press it in all the way around, just make sure it's seated correctly. Obviously when you do up the plug, you'll press it against the sump and you want to make it go flat, but yeah, that's it, it's ready to be reinstalled. Obviously you don't want to do it, it's up to you tight guys. The last thing you want to do is when you come to do your car up, do your service next, is round it off. So I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean now, and I'll move the tub forward and I'll be ready for the oil filter. So obviously now this is what you need your socket for, to undo your your oil filter. It's a bit hard to do it one hand. Right, I've just cracked it. So just be aware guys, this does piss out. Right, that's loose enough by hand now. This is where it absolutely pisses. This one pisses heavy oil. As you can see, coming in all again. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, I need to invest in some more gloves, guys. I'm just going to let that drain out like that now before I remove the oil filter completely. Right, that's the oil filter out. Now you just need to pull on this, what's holding this lower case, to remove your oil filter. It just pops out. Obviously once you've got your oil filter out, I tend to just give this a bit of a clean inside best you can. The next thing you need to do is remove this O-ring off here. Your new oil filter should come with one. It's literally, you can see like a little groove there. Just again use that screwdriver or a pick or something just to pick it out, and then pull the rubber O-ring off. And once you've got your O-ring off, obviously there's a new one that's come with the oil filter, so you can compare them. And then obviously this is the new filter itself. It literally just pops in. It says, there you go. That's it. Just pushes in, and then what you need to do is just refit the O-ring in position where the other one was. So just wind it down. I can't really do it with one hand. I could try, but no, I'm not going to bother trying. So literally just need to bring it down all the way around, a bit at a time, with both hands obviously, and then it'll be ready to go back in the car. Now once it's all back together, see the new O-ring's in, the filter's in, it's just literally ready to screw back into the car. And then guys, don't over tighten your oil filter. You know, it's not ugga dugga to spec. Literally just want to tighten it up. So it's tight, so you get, so that's one hand now. So I'll just two-hand it now, just to make sure you pinch it up, and that'll be it. Right then, you need to lower your car back down for refill. You don't want to be filling the car up on the slang, because you won't get an accurate reading on the dipstick. And so you got your funnel here, or you can pour it in by hand if you haven't got one and you've got a steady hand, unlike me. So I've got some other oil I had before, so there's about just over 3 litres in there, and the car holds just, I think it's 4 litres I think the car holds off the top of my head. You can double check that for me. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw that in there first, and then I'll be checking the dipstick, and I'll add a little bit until it's up to full, and then I'll crank the car over. I'll disengage the coil pack so the car doesn't fire, just cranks over to get oil pressure, so oil gets round all the ancillaries and whatnot, and then we'll go from there. I don't know about you guys, but it's absolutely roasting hot today. I'm doing this whilst we're having that heat wave. Oh my god. The only problem with this funnel is it does take a while to go in. You can't just chuck it in. It's not very fast, but it all goes in the engine and not all over the engine. What happens with me when I try and fill up stuff, I'm absolutely useless at it. I don't understand why garages charge so much for this, because it's not even a hard job to do. So I reckon the cost is probably more the parts, more than anything. Like I said, 40 quid for oil filter, oil, and O-ring from Vauxhall. That's dealership, so. And when I had this engine built, I said to Warren, what's the best oil to use? He told me this, so this is fine. On a forged engine, so if you guys have got forged engines, Vauxhall oil is perfectly fine. Well, that's all that in there. Probably not even enough to register on the dipstick yet. Nope. double check. No, it needs more, which is obviously it's going to need more. Well, I'll just fill this up now, guys, and I'll get back to you. I don't know if you can really see that, but it's on the full mark. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disconnect the coil pack. Just crank it a couple of times, obviously not too much because the fuel injector is still connected. And then I'll start the car. And then what I'll do then is I'll let it run for a sec and then knock it off and then double check. So obviously the oil filter's got to fill up and everything else first. I'll plug this back in now. There we go. Right. All that's gone out. That's it. Good enough for me. I'll check the oil again now and see what the level's at. All serviced now. Oil's all good. I've just emptied out the old tub into the empty bottle here, and then I'll take that down a tip to get rid of it. Obviously, at your own discretion what you want to do with your old oil. Obviously, if you've got an old tub, just use a pop bottle, like a big pop bottle, a couple of 2-3 of them maybe. But yeah, that's as easy as it is. Right then, guys, these are all the parts I've ordered. This is my clutch kit in here. It's a stage 2 kit from WG. So obviously this is the pressure plate. Much upgraded one, more beefy. Obviously the clutch plate. It's supposed to handle over 340 brake, I think it is, from what I remember rightly, but I'm not going to get anywhere near that in my turbo. And this is the solid flywheel. Absolute thing of beauty. Such a shame it's going to be hidden away in the car. It's supposed to be lighter than the dual mass, so it should spin up a little bit quicker. It won't give me more power, but it should effectively make the car quicker, if that makes sense. So that's that. And then that. I've also ordered some Titan Fuchs gearbox oil. It's probably the best you can use for your car. And also in here to have my grease bearing, new one, along with all the floral bolts and clutch bolts. It made sense to change it all out and do it all at once with new stuff. So yeah, that's the part so far. Obviously I can start moving forward now with the clutch. Now I've got everything, I need to wait now on the intake system and my Piper springs, and then I need to order some cams as well. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as always, and I hope you guys like the clutch kit I've got. Oh, I'm absolutely sweltering. That's killed me, that. But yeah, so I will update next week, hopefully on the bumper, regardless if I've got it or not. Probably I'll just chuck a little 2-minute vid in if I haven't received anything back yet. But if you liked it, drop a like down, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.